Kim Ives is a great fit to the theme of life and learning. Kim has dedicated much of his life to raising awareness around the wide array of issues found in the Caribbean country of Haiti. Although sharing the island of Hispaniola with the Dominican Republic, one of the most wealthy tourist countries found in the Caribbean, Haiti suffers as the poorest country in the Americas. Although many may remember the earthquake that devastated this country in early January of 2010, what the world did not see was the other tragedies that have befallen Haiti over the years, most unfortunately due to outside influence. As such, Kim Ives has worked diligently to ensure the world does not forget the lives of the people living in Haiti, and this presentation is to educate us on the real issues that surround this country. Kim Ives is one of the founders of the weekly newspaper Haiti Liberté, where he is a writer and an editor. The paper has offices in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and Brooklyn, New York. Previously, he wrote, edited, and photographed for Haiti Progrès newspaper for 23 years. Ives is also a filmmaker who has worked on many documentary films about Haiti, including Bitter Cane, Haitien Leve Campé, The Coup Continues, Killing the Dream, and Resistance. He is also a member of Crowing Roosters Arts, a film production collective which has produced many films about Haiti. He is also a founding member of the International Support Haiti Network, formerly the Haiti Support Network, and has led numerous delegations to Haiti since 1986 to investigate human rights violations, union struggles, peasant land conflicts, and state enterprise privatization campaigns. In early October 2012, the ISHN organized a march by New York's Haitian community across the Brooklyn Bridge to show solidarity with the Occupy Wall Street demonstrators. Ives is also a co-host of the weekly radio program Haiti, The Struggle Continues, which airs on WBAI 99.5 FM in New York, and a weekly Haitian TV show produced by Haiti Liberté entitled Kofu Verité, which airs on a Haitian subscription TV network. Ives has contributed to several books on Haiti, including Dangerous Crossroads, published by NACLA, The Haiti Files, edited by James Ridgway, Haiti, A Slave Revolution, published by the International Action Center, and most recently, Tectonic Shifts, Haiti Since the Earthquake, to be released in January 2012. Ives has written for numerous other publications, including The Guardian, The Nation, NACLA Report on the Americas, The Progressive, and Ives is also a frequent guest on radio and television networks and shows, including Al Jazeera, Democracy Now!, RTTV, National Public Radio, and several Pacifica Network programs. In the summer of 2011, Ives coordinated the editing of, as well as wrote and co-authored, over a dozen stories based on some 2000 Haiti-related secret U.S. diplomatic cables provided exclusively to Haiti Liberté by the media organization WikiLeaks. The series generated international press attention. Ives is also a frequent public speaker about Haiti at churches, community groups, schools and colleges across the U.S. and internationally. In 2010 and 2011, he spoke at the University of Edinburgh, University of London, University of Toronto, University of Vermont, and the New School for Social Research in New York, among others. In November 2011, he was invited to attend a conference held in Sao Paulo, Brazil, on the UN military occupation of Haiti. So, without taking too much time for Kim to tell his story, please welcome with me Kim Ives.
Thank you, Justin. I think we're going to begin, since we're running a little late. I'm just going to jump right in without too much introduction. We're going to see a video which captures really the ironies that we find in Haiti today. And the principal irony is that you have a UN military occupation, completely illegal by the UN's charter and by the Haitian Constitution. And that came into the country almost 8 years ago and is now accused, and rightly so, of importing cholera. Haiti is now suffering from the worst cholera epidemic in the world. Over 7,000 people have died, over 500,000 have been sickened. And the clip you're going to see, just so you get in the waters of the Caribbean, is a demonstration that happened about a month ago, about a month and a half ago, in St. Mark against the UN's force, which is called MINUSTA, that stands for the UN Mission to Stabilize Haiti. And this is a demonstration of the people against the UN in their importation of cholera. So we'll just watch that.
Ou bien 2000, la fait 63 l'année depuis un paquet de pays sous la terre bénie. Ils ont choisi une déclaration, la déclaration universelle droit monde. La déclaration ça, il n'y a pas moi monsieur ça c'est ça fait là. Parce que Haïti c'est même l'ONU tout. Et puis la déclaration ça dit moun gen droit à la santé. Moun gen droit à la vie, moun gen droit pour aller à l'école, moun gen droit pour la santé. Est-ce que nous gen droit ça yo? Est-ce que nous gen droit ça yo? Est-ce que nous gen droit pour boire de l'eau potable? C'est parce que nous boire de l'eau potable qui fait nous attraper choléra. Donc, moun a parlé pour fêter, commémorer déclaration universelle droit moun. Non, c'est hypocrite parce que nous n'avons pas de droit. Nous n'avons pas nous pièces droit. Et ça fait nous là aujourd'hui, c'est pas pour nous commémorer, mais c'est pour nous demander justice et réparation. Pour qui ça? Pour qui ça? Qui est-ce qui va nous coller là? Qui est-ce qui va nous coller là? Qui va nous coller là? Mais c'est ça, c'est eux-mêmes qui va nous. C'est nous, nous êtes sous eux. Nous, j'ai droit 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 sous eux. Pour tout le monde qui est victime de choléra, il y a une justice à préparation. Et puis pour le ministère, quitter le pays, quitter le bout de terre, papa de Saline. Vous le savez à côté de nous. 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 Vous le savez. Est-ce que l'ONU va venir notre pays avec le ministère pour venir tous les noirs choléra? Est-ce que l'ONU va venir notre pays pour venir faire cardiaque sur une femme à un garçon? Est-ce que l'ONU a vu nos pays pour les cabris paysans? Est-ce que l'ONU a vu nos pays pour écraser jeunes garçons et jeunes femmes dans le quartier populaire? L'ONU a dépensé $1 milliard. Tenez bien, papa ici. $1 milliard chaque année pour que les ministères de pays. Nous, si on te met $1 milliard ça, de faire l'école, qui quantité de petits papa ici qui à l'école, qui quantité de petits papa ici qui la santé, qui quantité de papa ici qui le travail. Donc c'est ça que nous avons besoin. Avec le choléra, faut que nous bataillons, faut que nous bataillons pour nous forcer l'ONU à réparer comme ça. Parce que l'ONU est comme, dès qu'il y a $1 milliard à déposer. Donc c'est pas peuple haïtien qui a mouillé de vous, le chômage, la misère, pour venir augmenter le fadol. Il y a un groupe de monde qui vient, ils ont dit qu'ils viennent aider nous là-dedans, ils viennent pas nous sécurité, et puis c'est insécurité au poté, les poté, ils viennent laguer toilette, notre l'eau, et notre l'eau n'a servi, qui fait nous mourir. Journée aujourd'hui, c'est un commencement.
Okay, we're not going to go through the entire piece. You can find it online. You can just Google MINUSTA, BAI. That's Bureau for International Lawyers. That's the acronym BAI. Video St. Mark. I think you'll find it that way. Otherwise, you can check the Chan website that's for Canada Haiti Action Network, chan.org, and you will find the video up there. The people you see speaking in that video, Mario Joseph and the second speaker you saw, Yves Pierre-Louis. Yves Pierre-Louis is in fact the bureau chief of Haiti Liberté, our newspaper in Port-au-Prince. And this office, the Office of International Lawyers and Haiti Liberté, are really, I could say, the crucible in which the resistance in Haiti is taking place. And it's resistance to what? It's resistance to the military occupation of Haiti, to the new government of President Michel Martelly, which was essentially installed by that military occupation. And it should be said that the UN is there really as the handmaiden of the US, or I could say really the triumvirate, or perhaps we could say troika, of the US, Canada, and France. These are the three countries who are essentially locking Haiti down into a neoliberal regime, privatizing the state industries, and essentially meddling in the internal affairs of the country. Again, this was the first independent nation of Latin America. We could say the first free country of the Americas, because we have to remember the United States was still a slave-owning society when it was founded in 1776. Haiti, when it was founded in 1804, decreed liberté for everybody. No slavery, all men and women equal, and women they included. So this is really the vanguard nation of history, and it's been paying a price since then. It was embargoed for 60 years by the US after its founding, and its history has been checkered with interventions from those nations who, I could say those imperial nations which surrounded the US and France in particular. I have a very brief slideshow here which I'm going to race through because I want to leave plenty of time for questions, and we only have 20 minutes or so. Haiti, as you can see, is based in the middle of the Caribbean. It was the first place that Columbus landed in 1492. In fact, the Santa Maria crashed there. He built a fort, and it's somewhere on that north coast of Haiti. The ruins of it. And Haiti itself is really the western third of the island of Hispaniola. Columbus named the island Hispaniola in honor of Queen Isabel and King Ferdinand of Spain, because he thought it was so beautiful. So now the forested mountains that he saw are gone. Only 2% of the original forest covering of the island remains. It is an ecological disaster, and that's one of the urgencies for the people's fight for a democratic society, because the way it is now, the ecological damage to the country is continuing because of the poverty there. People have to strip the mountains for trees, for fuel, and that is helping to contribute to the ecological disaster. As most of you know, Haiti was hit by a tremendous 7.0 earthquake in the Port-au-Prince area in 2010, January 12th, and the results were devastating to the nation, both in terms of physical loss of buildings as well as human loss. Original estimates had put the death toll at 320,000. That was the Haitian government's figures. But it appears of late that the figure may have been much lower, more in the realm of 60 to 70,000. This is based on bit of research done by Tim Schwartz, anthropologist down there. Whatever the case, the effects to the country have been devastating, and at this point about 500,000 people still live in IDP, internally displaced people, camps. Next slide. Just press, yeah. You can see the damage to the buildings. The palace fell down, most of the major churches fell down. Many people were killed in these structures, many less though than might have been killed if it had happened just an hour or two earlier. It happened around 4:53, which was, by that time most kids were out of school and most workplaces had let out. So many buildings and schools that fell down trapped considerably less children and buildings considerably less workers. Next slide. You can get a sense of some of the devastation here. Next slide. This is one of the IDP camps right near the airport. Again, 500,000 living in there. There are efforts now by the Martelly government to clear out these camps, sometimes forcibly through the use of armed goons and sometimes police. Other times they buy people out, giving them 20,000 gourds, that's about $500 to move out. A lot of people take it and move, but it doesn't really resolve the problems. They're moving often back into unsafe buildings. Next slide. Another shot of the camps. Next slide. Here we get some of the figures as of September. Number of camps, 802. The population of the camps is about 551,000, down from 680, as you can see. The services in the camp are essentially being cut off. It's essentially a siege, which is happening of the camps. Water down to 7%, toilets 38%, bathing down to 50%. And hand washing stations, very important because of the cholera epidemic, 12% for residents of the camps. And across Haiti, as you can see, 54% of access to clean water, and that's relatively speaking. Even the clean water is, often has a lot of animal byproducts in it, and 34% to sanitation. Next slide. These are the camps. This one is by an area just outside of Port-au-Prince, north of it, called Corail-Cécélès. These are camps which have essentially been built in the middle of a desert floodplain. They are hot during the day, cold during the night. The rocks are very difficult to sleep on because many people don't have a bed. They're sleeping on a mat on the ground. And when it rains, the camps flood. It is an irony because there is very suitable terrain in Haiti for people to be resettled. There are NGOs which have housing ready to be built on such land, but the landowners, the bourgeoisie of Haiti, does not want to give up a lot of that valuable land. They would rather keep it to sell it at a higher profit later, and as a result, it's their cheapest, most useless land that they end up making money on by selling to the state for resettlement, and Corail-Cécélès is an example of that. Next slide. These are the type of houses which are being built, just basically plywood shacks, which may be better in terms of an earthquake, but in terms of a hurricane, they're often very vulnerable. Next slide. And these are just outside of the camps that have been built, like Corail-Cécélès. You see these huge informal cities of tents of people set up outside. They hope to get some of, they hoped at the time to get some of the services that the camps were provided by NGOs. But in many cases, those services have dried up. Again, this is a very hot, arid, Arizona-like environment. It's actually greener here than usual because of recent rains. Next slide. Here are some of the figures. As you can see, they're damaged throughout Haiti. Many of the buildings, when you drive through Port-au-Prince, you'll see on the sides red, yellow, and green markings. 20%, as you can see, are to be torn down. 26% are unsafe, need repair, and 54% are safe for occupation. But as we know, by early 2011, 64% of the red buildings were re-inhabited and 85% of the yellow-coded buildings. And this is because people had nowhere else to go. As Kit Miyamoto noted, occupied yellow and red houses are extremely dangerous since many are a collapse hazard. People occupy these houses despite communications and warnings from the Ministry of Public Works, the MTPTC, engineers, since they have nowhere to go but to camps. Next slide. Again, these are pictures of people in the camps. Next slide. This is a recent report put out by Human Rights Watch, which talks about the security problems in the camp. Many people, many women have been raped in the camps because there are no doors, often on the camp tents. People can cut their way straight in. Next slide. This is what the aid figures show. 2.4 billion in bilateral relief aid delivered to date. That is about half of the aid that was earmarked or raised at a UN conference in March 2010. 5.4 billion was pledged for bilateral recovery in 2010 and 11, and that was up to 9 billion over the course of 3 years. But again, most of that, or half of that, has not come in. The small fraction, 6 to 10% of that, went to the Haitian government. So again, most of this money is going to non-governmental organizations. One of the great misnomers of our time, the non-governmental organizations are generally governmental organizations working on behalf of foreign governments. The donors have dispersed about 560 million in what they call recovery assistance. This is different from relief aid. Recovery is supposedly for rebuilding infrastructure, buildings, etc., whereas relief is just for food, water, and tents, and so forth. An additional 3.1 billion of relief and recovery was raised by the NGOs and other donations. The largest share of this was the Red Cross, which has raised 1.4 billion. Of that, they've spent approximately 50%. I'll suggest to people that they try to get a copy of or see a new film which is out by a filmmaker called Michelle Mitchell. It's called Where Did the Money Go? And she really specifically targets the Red Cross and looks at what appears to be malfeasance on their part in terms of aid distribution. She looks at the problems of aid distribution in Haiti. Cholera funding is 172 million promised, 130 million has been dispersed. It's ironic to note that this figure for the cholera is just a fraction of the 850 million that is spent every year to keep the UN occupation force in Haiti. 850 million to have troops riding around in armored personnel carriers pointing guns at people squatting in dust and dirt trying to sell chiclets, and there you have 130 million dispersed for the cholera fight, which was brought to the country by the UN. Next slide. This is a picture of the embryonic Haitian army, which President Michel Martelly is trying to reinstall in the country. Next picture. These troops are generally from a force called the Forces Armées d'Haïti, which is the armed forces of Haiti. It was set up by US Marines in 1934 when they left the country as a sort of proxy force to guard US interests. And it was dissolved in 1995 by President Aristide. It was one of the most popular and celebrated moves that he did. But Martelly is really, as we'll explain in 1 second, a representative of the devaluerist sector, a neo-devaluerist, and part of his platform, of his real mission, is to reinstall this army, to establish it so that that right wing, that ruling group in Haiti has an arm with which to make coups d'etats and keep control of the government. Next picture. Right now, what he's doing is he's using it as a foil to the Minister troops, which you see a picture here of a UN truck with a blue helmet in it. Next slide. These, next slide. These troops are highly unpopular in Haiti, not only for the cholera, which they imported, but for the repression they've carried out in Haiti, especially in a number of the shanty towns. There have been 2 major massacres in July 2005 and in December 2006, where dozens of people were killed. Their bodies often disappeared. This is a scar on the people. In Haiti, you say, "Bail oublié porte mac songer." Give the blow, you forget. Take the blow, or bear the scar, you remember. The Haitian people remember this, and they're very angry. Next slide. So this is the obstacles, and I think this is a good breakdown of it. To aid in reconstruction is the weak and underfunded national government as a result of 2 centuries of foreign intervention and plunder. Again, Haiti had coups d'etats in 1991 and 2004 after huge landslide victories for Father Jean-Bertrand Aristide and his party. In both cases, the US, with backing from Canada and France, ousted the government. In the second, I should say, from Canada and France. In the first, Canada and France played a slightly better role. But the US brought about the coup in both cases and essentially set up the stage for the last 2 decades of political instability in the country. 2, the large presence of international aid organizations and UN agencies accountable first and foremost to their donors and home governments. Sean Penn, who was recently interviewed on the PBS Tavis Smiley show, made the statement, which we totally agree with, that Haiti would be in a much better position if all the NGOs over the past 30 years had never come to the country. He, in a sense, backtracks a little now, saying he feels that President Bill Clinton's leadership has reformed the NGO movement, but we take issue with that. 3rd, a right-wing presidency brought to power through exclusionary and fraudulent election process. That's the government of Michel Martelly, and as I'll explain in 1 second, it is now faced with a tremendous crisis because it may turn out that he's fraudulently president, that he is in fact a US citizen, and a foreign police and military force, Minister, dating from the 2004 coup d'etat, whose purpose is to preserve the status quo on behalf of Washington. Next slide. Again, these are pictures of people fixing the houses. Next slide. And these show some of the centers for the medical mission of the Cubans, who have about 800 Cuban doctors and at times up to 1,500 international doctors in Haiti as part of what they call the Harry Reid Medical Brigade. They are, and I'm weighing my words, considered gods in Haiti because of the work they've done. They go into the farthest corners of the countryside. You can see all the small red dots. They're out in the middle of nowhere. They live with the people and provide them often with practically no medicine and supplies, very high quality medical care. They've performed hundreds of thousands of operations. And so the Cuban contribution to medical care in Haiti, which now in many cases is free. Haiti has a de facto socialized medicine because you can now see a doctor for free with the Cuban doctors. it's been just an extraordinary initiative and really an irony to see the UN sending troops and Cuba sending doctors. Next slide. Here is a picture of a Cuban doctor providing aid. Next slide. And here is here is a picture of some of the color treatment centers. Mostly, as you can see, in the Artibonite Valley, which is where it began. The troops were up on that far right part of the slide by Mirabelais. That's where they dumped their sewage into the Artibonite River, which is Haiti's largest river, and that was the source of the cholera. People use the river water for drinking, washing, and irrigation. Next slide. And Paul Farmer has recently put out a book which he's the head of, as many people may know, Partners in Health, a very effective NGO in Haiti, but their principal message is that money needs to be given not to NGOs, but to the Haitian government. Next slide. And other books to read on Haiti. Most important really is to read Damming the Flood, which tells the story of the 2004 coup. And the other books, Uses of Haiti, The Occupation of Haiti by Schmidt, and Avengers of the New World. I would add a third book by Laurent Dubois, fifth book by Laurent Dubois, which just came out. It is called Haiti, The Aftershocks of History, which is really about the history of Haiti since the revolution in 1804 up till the present day. Very, very important book. Next slide. And these are what you can do. Demand change in government policy. They're in Canada to your members of parliament. Support human rights groups such as the BAI, Bureau des Avocats Internationaux, Haiti Grassroots Watch, and other grassroots organizations. International Institute for Justice and Democracy in Haiti is a sort of close cousin agency of the BAI. Partners in Health is also good. Madre is another good group. Support the Fight for Political Sovereignty. Haiti Liberté newspaper is a very good place to give your support. You can always just go to the webpage. You'll find a way to do that there. And Canada-Haiti Action Network, which really is, in North America, I could really say the world, the best international solidarity network that there is going with respect to Haiti. Okay, so we can knock out the screen there, or maybe I'll just leave that up there. I know we're going very fast. It's 1 o'clock. I know people may have to go to their next class, but in short, we are faced with a situation now in Haiti where we've had effectively an electoral coup d'etat. The government of Michel Martelly was in fact imposed by the US. The Haitians call it a selection, not an election, a selection. Essentially the OAS and Hillary Clinton came down and read the Riot Act to the government of President René Préval, his party's candidate came in second in the first round of the November 2010 election. And they said, no, we want Michel Martelly, who would come in a close third. Effectively, the international community forced Martelly onto the ticket, and he went on to win the presidency. This was, in fact, an illegal election because the Haitian Electoral Council never signed off on the first round results. So his election is essentially illegal, and it now appears to be even more illegal. Haiti Liberté in recent weeks has been investigating, and it's online now in our issue this week, the likelihood that President Michel Martelly is a US citizen. As such, he is ineligible to be Haitian president because the 1987 Constitution says a Haitian president must never have renounced his nationality, which you do when you become the citizen of another country. The rumors of this have been going around since he was a candidate. There was at one point a fake passport which circulated online. We called the State Department months ago, and they gave us a very strange answer. They said, and textually this is it, they said, to the best of our knowledge, we have no reason to believe that Mr. Martelly is now or has ever been a US citizen. But when we got that response, we said that's very strange because this is a yes or no question. You run the passports, you look and you see that is he a citizen or not. But they had to put two conditions in there, to the best of our knowledge, and we have no reason to believe. So it was clearly contrived as a deniability sentence, and we have a source, a close family source of his, who says that he has had a passport. He has been a US citizen since 93 or 95, and now there appears to be a former mistress of his in the Dominican Republic who has released a copy of his canceled US passport. We're actively seeking that now. We hope to have it by this coming weekend. In any case, for those of you who follow Haiti, you can follow that. But this will now create a tremendous situation, I could say, where Martelly's authoritarian side could come to the fore. This, again, is a neo-Duvalierist. His whole group, he and his whole clique around him are, many of them, the children of Duvalier regime functionaries. Thierry Meyer-Paul, he is Jean-Claude Duvalier's son as one of his advisors. He has a number of others. And right now, what will happen if, as we believe will happen, the truth comes out about his nationality, is he will be called on to step down. But we think that given his authoritarian tendencies, he may say, I'm not stepping down, you're stepping down to the parliament. He said as much in an interview in '97 with a Miami newspaper who interviewed him at length. They asked what he would do as president. He said, the first thing I would do would be dissolve the parliament because you're not going to get anywhere with him. Indeed, his relationship with the parliament and with the press has been very tempestuous, very controversial. He is likely, we feel, to not step down, and we may see a real constitutional crisis. This crisis is exacerbated by the fact that right now it's unclear what constitution is in the country. The 1987 constitution that Haiti's been functioning under was amended under President Proval. But when it was published, there were errors in the publishing of the Constitution. It went back to be edited and corrected. When it was brought out, President Proval was no longer in power, only President Martelly. So in fact, it seems they're stuck still with the 1987 Constitution. The amended Constitution won't be able to take effect really until after Martelly steps down, when new amendments take effect. So we see a constitutional crisis, we see a nationality crisis, we have the crisis continuing of the aid which is not flowing into the country, and as my final point before I take just a few questions, you have a question of corruption. One of the senators who we've put all the charges in Haiti Liberté and looked into them ourselves, points to a tremendous, a huge a boondoggle, we can call it, of fees which Martelly is charging. Just to give you a taste, a president, when he makes a trip overseas, used to get a per diem expense account of $5,000 a day. Michel Martelly, who has made many, many trips, put it up to $20,000 a day. So when he makes a trip, as he just made this week, if any of you looked at the Haiti news this morning, you'll see he was in Davos, Switzerland, at the World Economic Summit, and he is paying paying himself $20,000 a day. His wife, if she travels with him, gets $10,000 a day per diem. His children, if they travel with him, get $7,500 a day, and any other hangers-on get $4,000 a day. Usually there are a lot of hangers-on. Usually his family does travel with him. He usually has a delegation of 30 or more that go overseas. The cost to the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, one of the poorest in the world, is staggering. So this is a notion. There have been outrageous withdrawals from the central bank by his family members, his father-in-law, his son, for projects which have no reality from what investigations show. So we see somebody who may be just shoveling money out of the treasury, much in the way as his mentor, Jean-Claude Duvalier, did. And at that World Economic Summit in Davos just this week, he announced that he's thinking to give Jean-Claude Duvalier a pardon for two things. One, Jean-Claude Duvalier, and this is quite well documented, stole close to $1 billion from the Haitian treasury during his 15-year rule from 1971 to 1986. But second, he is charged with many crimes against humanity. Those are crimes that constitute torture, illegal imprisonment, extrajudicial killings, and disappearances. Thousands of people died under his regime. These are called crimes against humanity. They are against essentially international crimes, and as the person who brought me up here, Ralph Paul of the local Chan chapter, pointed out, these are international crimes, which really you cannot pardon. So his pardon of Duvalier, one, tells his political direction, or his intended pardon, which he says he's contemplating doing. We think he's trying to set the stage. May mean that he's going to clear Duvalier from prosecution, which is would be a travesty of justice. Groups like the Bureau of International Lawyers and many human rights groups just this past week put out a letter saying you must judge Duvalier. He's been in the country for 1 year. He came back to Haiti back in January 2011, and he hasn't been judged. They said the government has to stop playing Pontius Pilate. So I'll stop there and take questions because I see the clock ticking on. I'm assuming people can stay a little longer. So.
As I understand it, when Aristide was elected, both times he was kind of the head of, or the figurehead at the Family Last movement who got like 90-something% of the vote.
Correct.
I'm curious if that movement is still active and what the status of that is. I understand Aristide's still in exile in Africa, but I'm just curious what's the situation with the remainder of that movement.
Well, in fact, Aristide returned to Haiti despite tremendous opposition from the US, Canada, France, and the Vatican. He returned to Haiti on March 18th last year. This was just 2 days before the second round of the election. The US called it destabilizing. They fought it tooth and nail. Obama even got on the telephone to South African President Jacob Zuma and said, don't let him get on that plane. It's outrageous. And in Haiti Liberté, when we were treating the 2000 WikiLeaks documents that they gave us, we had one segment which really was one of the most read in Haiti Liberté in the nation about this international campaign to block Aristide's return. Aristide has returned, but the irony is that he's under some form of de facto house arrest. Since he's returned in March 2011, he's not been able to go out of his house at all. It's an irony because he's so popular, and yet we see Jean-Claude Duvalier, who is technically under house arrest, under investigation for the embezzlements and crimes against humanity that he did, is going around every day. You see him in restaurants all over Pétionville with a big cortege of security and bourgeois well-wishers. And he's traveled up to the town of Gonaïves in the north to have receive a degree of recognition from a law school up there. It's outrageous. So the party itself is trying to reorganize. They're looking to have a Congress. Right now they're having what they call departmental Congress. Those are like provinces in Haiti. You have 10 departments. So each department is having a Congress to more or less put together delegations to come to a national Congress where the party will choose a new leadership and present its candidates for the next election. Now, all of this is even more urgent right now because if Martelly is forced from power, as he will, at least will come to the fore if he is proved to be a US citizen, then there'll be an election. And most likely, as in all elections, since it was founded, Fami Lavalas would be a high favorite. The Martelly government has a severe political problem right now because even the party that sponsored him, which was called the Peasants' Response, has given him in Creole we say, they put him at a distance, and they no longer want to have him involved in they don't want him involved in their party. Plus the fact that the soldiers, who he's really the point man for, have become very impatient and are saying that he's backing down, because when he came proposing his army, the US and France and Canada said, well, we don't think that's a good idea. Beef up the police force, but we're not going to pay for any army for you. He gave that army a price tag of first $95 million and then $25 million. Now, he has set up, part of the corruption is that he's set up a so-called Fund for National Education, where he has completely illegally made a tax on every money transfer that goes to Haiti from the Haitian diaspora of $1.50 per transfer and a 5-cent tax on every phone call. Now, money transfers and phone calls are basically what keep the country alive. The Haitian diaspora here in Canada and in the US essentially provide most of the foreign revenues, about $2 billion a year, that sustain Haiti, because as you saw, I think in the slides, there's 50% unemployment in the country. That fund apparently has at least $26 million missing. Nobody seems to know where that money went. Now, it may be much more than that, because in fact, this is just what is apparent from the declarations of Martelly's own ministers. But there's no congressional or parliamentary oversight of this fund. So it may be money from this fund, which is supposedly to provide free education for kids, which they're going to use to launch their army. We don't really know, but in any case, these are some of the imponderable questions which are happening on that scene. So just going back to Fami Lavalas, this is what is creating this upsurge, this call really for Lavalas to return. Aristide is in a very fragile situation. He hasn't spoken out against Martelly or denounced some of his outrageous proposals or the corruption. Martelly also went to visit him, supposedly for reconciliation. He couldn't really say no. He also went to visit Duvalier and some of the other presidents. So Aristide is having to be very prudent. He's having to measure his words, and really he's dedicated himself to relaunching his university, which is a free medical school for doctors, for training doctors. It was shut down in 2004 during the coup and turned into a military barracks for US soldiers.
What are the next steps? Like, I'll be optimistic and say when it is comes to light that he is American funded and backed, what will then happen? You said that he was going to kind of wipe out Parliament, but what then happens? Does the UN step in, or who comes in? Or how? Yeah, I have no idea what happens.
constitutionally, under the 1987 Constitution, if he is impeached, the head of the Supreme Court becomes president. The country is then supposed to hold new presidential election in 60 or 90 days, which isn't going to happen. It's going to take longer. My suspicion is that what will happen in the new amended Constitution, there is, it says that it's not the head of the Supreme Court, but it's the Prime Minister who takes the presidency. That would be a guy called Gary Coney, who is essentially the agent of Washington. He was Clinton's chief of staff, again, child of a devaluerist, pretty much in the same mode as Martelly, but much more linked and observant and loyal to his US backers. Martelly is a little more mercurial, a little more of a rogue in every sense of the word. So the possibility, just looking at the historical record, is that they're going to play with it. What they're going to try to do, I think, if that scenario presents itself, is to say, okay, Martelly is out, Coney is in fact the next president, so now the amended Constitution can take place and he becomes president. So this is the way the US will really get a grip on the government, and that's one possible scenario. But in short, I think that, as I said before, if they do come and discover it and say, okay, Martelly, you have to go, I think he's going to fight back. I don't think he's going to go, shall we say, peacefully. And all bets are off on what can happen in a case like that. As for the thing, it's pretty clear he was US aided and funded coming in. It's the question that he's a US citizen, because the first Constitution, a lot of Haitians have dual nationality, and that in that Constitution they really want to draw a line and say it can only be Haitian nationals who can be president. So, did that answer both your questions? Okay, yeah. And if there are no more questions, okay, Ralph.
You may have already said things or two about the aid money that's going to Haiti. I've been moving quite a bit here, so I may have missed it. But a lot of times we think that the money that is given to Haiti goes to the government and the government just wastes the money, which is partly factual. You know, we do have a government, like you just said, that kind of go and on trips and so on with some of the money, but we're talking only about millions of dollars, but it's been billions of dollars that have been raised or pledged for Haiti, and only a small percentage of that end up going to the government. I understand that there is a documentary that just came out regarding where the aid money goes.
Yeah, where did the money go?
Yeah, can you say things or two about that?
I haven't seen the documentary. On our radio show in New York, we did interview the director of the documentary, who is a very hard-nosed, brass-tacks journalist, worked with Bill Moyers, worked with CNN, was head of CNN Headline News. So she wasn't any flaky blogger or something like that. It was a very serious journalist who looked into it and really targeted, from what she told us and what I understand, the Red Cross's response. The Red Cross, of course, is the principal big box charity in Haiti, and had received, as you saw, $1.4 billion. I mean, we can get lost in the figures. Essentially, not enough money was given to Haiti, only $5 billion or possibly $10 billion, which is a pittance when you consider the money spent on the UN occupation and our military adventures around the globe. But of that money, only half has been delivered, and a lot of that ends up going, in fact, 99% of that ends up going either to the State Department, the Pentagon, the contractors, or the NGOs. And when I say the contractors, this is the incredible outrage. The CEPR, the Center for Economic and Policy Research, very important group to check out online, cepr.org, I think is their sign. And they showed that 2% of all the contracts, 2%, went to Haitian contractors. 98% went to foreigners, mostly US. These are many of them sort of linked to or lookalikes of firms like Halliburton, Bechtel, what they call Kellogg Brown and Root, or KBR. These are really almost quasi-official corporations, really extensions of the Pentagon. They're the ones that go in and build the bases in Iraq and Afghanistan and are really, I could say, the cornerstones of the US military-industrial complex. So a lot of this money is essentially a bailout for the US military-industrial complex to these little tentacles of Washington's companies. So that 1% that goes to the Haitian government. Now, sure, there's corruption in Haitian governments in the past, but the point is that it's a matter of principle. The corruption there is considerably, we could even say less if we look at the proportions of what happens in terms of the official corruption in the NGO and corporate world and government world in the US, and maybe Canada and France as well. But at least the Haitian people have a say in it. They can vote out that government. They can overthrow that government. It is a question of sovereignty. Haitian sovereignty is what's at stake here. And this is what the people at Haiti Liberté, at the Bureau of International Lawyers, was saying in the video that we started with, is we need to regain sovereignty. We need to regain control of our own destiny. We need self-determination. We cannot become a simple colony, a neo-colony, when we are the first nation of Latin America. We are the touchstone for all the liberation movements that happened in Latin America in 1804. Again, it was the Haitians who provided Bolivar, the great liberator of the South American continent, with the boats, the guns, the printing presses that he used to carry out liberation from Spanish colonialism. So this is very deep. I can say it's in the Haitian DNA to look for that sovereignty, and the aid question is really bringing it to a head.